going on YouTube? It's your boy Trinity Wolf, and welcome to Yu-Gi-Oh! Day, episode 10. This one was a phenomenal Yu-Gi-Oh! Day for me. I thought it was just going to be locals, but it turns out it was a win-a-box. So, as you guys can see in the thumbnail, I was playing my Neos build instead of my branded heroes. But anyway, guys, before we get to that stuff, if you're new to the channel, please destroy that subscribe button. We are on the march for our 1,000 subscribers, and hit the thumbs up button. And what do you guys think of this deck? Because this is insane. Like, I played against so many decks that I just didn't think I would actually win against. But anyway, guys, here we go. Round 1, game 1, against Runix. They were playing like a stun variant of it, but I won the dice roll. I get to go first. As you can see, I basically get to pop off here, do the whole Vision Hero package. And yes, I am playing the Vision Heroes in my Neos build. It's just absolutely necessary to just be able to have as many possible plays as possible. As you can see, I revealed the Nebula Neos, so I think I actually did a misplay here. I don't remember if it was in this game, but when I made DPE, I used Crosskeeper's effect to draw 2 and put 1 on the bottom, but it didn't really change the result of the game state anyway, because during my opponent's turn, when I make I'm gonna make Nebula Neos on my opponent, so I'm gonna end up drawing like 4 cards anyway. So it didn't, and then because I would have drew, when the Nebula Neos came out, I would have drew 4 cards and then the additional 2 with the Crosskeeper anyway, so it wouldn't have really changed anything. So as you can see, he's banishing my cards with the card. I don't remember. I don't know what they're all called, but I know he banished some of my top cards. He made his fusion monster. He's getting the field spell. I just know probably getting rid of the field spell is the most important thing. So then when I forgot what we're talking about something. He activates the field spell. I think I was probably just asking about it. He activates the field spell. I let it go, basically. He's going to destroy my face down, activate the favorite contact, shuffle them back, summon the Nebula Neos, and then I think I just negate the field spell. I didn't draw 4 cards. I drew I forgot how many I drew, but yeah. But it didn't really change the result of the game state. But as you can see, I basically have huge advantage. But what my opponent's actually going to do is, basically when my turn starts, he's going to actually activate... I forgot what he activates something for... I forgot what he activates first. Yeah, he activates Metaverse. And I was like, okay. And then on the activation of Mystic Mine, I chain DPE. It's so annoying, you guys. I need this ban list to come. You're going to see Mystic Mine a lot in this video, and it's really annoying. And then when I go to battle phase, he activates Goes and Match. I decided to keep the DPE because he's running stuff like Mystic Mine. So I was like, yeah, I need to keep DPE on the board at all times. And then during the main phase 2, I make the Malicious and pass. Because I have a mass change, actually. So I'm going to be able to... So when he sets a card, I use DPE's effect to destroy the face down. It was another Goes and Match. I Foolish, Shadow Mist effect, make the Dark Law, and basically just swing for game. So on to game 2. He's going to go first, however. This was actually... I love this game the most, because he actually makes Majesty's Fiend. And I guess it was kind of bad. It was bad for him because he opened up 3 of them. But I'm sorry, kind of what you get for playing cards like that in your deck. But we actually get the Engaged Neo Space. And he says he could have responded to it because he did have a Judgment face down. But I told him, but after the game was over, I told him I had 2 anyway. And since Judgment negates the activation, I would be able to activate the other Engaged Neo Space because I still had the necessary resources. So it would have benefited me if he actually Judgmented, because then I would have just dumped more resources in the grave for, the Neos plays. You get more Spatians and more heroes in the grave. But essentially, he activated another Goes and Match, so I'm locked in the lights. But Neos is actually 3,500 because he was summoned with the Engaged Neo Space. But we go ahead and make the Brave Neos. And then we... what do we do next? I just wanted to just make sure I just killed him. Then we favorite contact into the Cosmo Neos, and then swing for game. So yeah, that was it. Round 2, however, we are against Flunderies. Now, I know I went X1, but I actually drew against Flunderies. But I don't consider that a loss, so I still say my record was X1. So draws are not a loss. So I went X1 this whole tournament. I go first, however. He starts off with Dimension Shifter. I ash his Terraforming, and it actually really hurt him. But, you know, the Dimension Shifter really hurts me. Like, I could have killed him, but I couldn't get more resources because of the Dimension Shifter. So I just had to swing with what I had on board. What's funny enough is I had Aqua Dolphin, and I actually, I can't remember, I don't remember if I looked at his hand or not, but if I did, I got rid of something. But yeah, and then his turn starts, he activates Mystic Mine. So I attribute to set Spirit Neos, I guess Pot of Duality, but I'm telling you guys, Mystic Mine is such a crappy card, dude. Like, more people started playing it just because, I swear, just because that YCS, everybody's just throwing it in their deck all of a sudden. Like, I hate that card so much. Like, I don't want to feel like I have to main deck like my Cosmic Cyclones or anything. Like, I just feel like I shouldn't have to do that just because of mine. And I know people were doing it today just because people were playing mine. And as you can see, that this is round 2, and you already saw another Mystic Mine player. Like, it's ridiculous. The card is ridiculous, man. And it basically was the reason why he won, is because, you know, he waited till he got his map, played the map, and then I did my Vision Hero plays just to get more bodies on the board. And then he just swings, sets 2 passes. I thought I was going to die, but I guess not. My normal Liquid Soldier, no effect. Used Miracle. Made Absolute Zero. I really thought I was going to... Because, you know, Absolute Zero doesn't have an activated effect, so I was like, I'm going to leave him in attack position. Activate Engage Neo Space. I think he negates it. Does he negate it? I could have sworn he negated it. No, he... Oh, I think he did negate it, but I... No, I couldn't activate Engage, I don't think. I don't remember. Yeah, it's still in my hand, so I think something happened to where I wasn't able to activate it. No, yeah, that's right. I had no more Elements of Heroes in my deck. That's why I wasn't able to... I did, but then I wouldn't be able to summon anything, so I was just like, yeah, I can't do anything else. But basically, and then when I go into the Crosskeeper, he just, you know, does Flunderies crap, and that was basically the game. Game 2, however, I do turn things around. I get to go first. We Hero Lives. Add Liquid Soldier. Poly. Because he asked my Hero Lives, but I normal summoned Stratos, and I actually had Polymerization in my opening hand, so I was really worried because I was like, I'm really having to set, like, I'd have to just settle on this really crappy board. But I ashed the Pot of Duality, Pot of Prosperity, I'm sorry, and then he activates Mystic Mine. And then I pass my turn, he activates another Pot of Prosperity. Like, I'm sorry, I know the card just got reprinted, but it needs to be limited. That's ridiculous. He was able to mine and then just keep digging for resources. That's just, I mean, I ashed the first one, and then I had another ash in my hand, but now with the Mystic Mine, I couldn't do anything. So at this point, with Mystic Mine, I was like, okay, I can't let him just tribute my whole board. So I'm gonna keep just setting monsters, and I'm gonna just make as many plays as possible. So I ashed the Robina in the Banish Zone. And then he tributes my Sunrise, which is funny enough. He should have tributed it was smart, because if he tributed the Ab-Zero the minute his monster came out, it would have just died. So I made the Wonder Driver, killed his board. Sadly enough, I wanted to engage Neo Space, but because I made the Link monster, I wasn't able to do it. But because of the Link monster, I just wish they could just make hero cards that just didn't lock you into silly shit. Like, I'm sorry, but like, we have Link monsters that go with our deck. Why are we making new cards that still lock us into certain things? Like, it should just say hero monster. Why does it have to specifically be fusion monsters? Like we literally have a Link monster that lets us search for our Spatian cards too. Like, I mean, even though he's really for the evil heroes, like Hell Divisor literally lets us search for any monster that has resources, like that has material on it. But if we do that, then we can't activate engage. So it's like, it's silly. I wish we could just have cards that just, we need the lock, but it should just say hero, not just a specific version of them. Like not fusion, not like just, oh well. But as you can see, I'm really brimmed down in my life. I'm at 550 life. I kill the barrier statue. I pass, he swings, I activate Spirit Neos. And then I hope I'm not wrong on that, because it was special summoned. So was I still able to search with its effect? Because it just says when it's special summoned. Like it never didn't say like you couldn't activate that effect. But because I was like, I hope it's not like a Lubird, you know, the Justbird Despia, when it specials from grave and negates a monster, you don't get the search with it. So I'm like, would I still get the search with Spirit Nails? I'm not quite sure on it, because it does just say when it's special summoned. So, and then I bring back the Neos with the Crosskeeper. I pretty much just punched the other monster. I can't get over the freaking that stupid bird. I can't remember his name, but he can't. But for some reason, for a while, he couldn't get over Spirit Neos either. But what's funny enough is I had my favorite contact, right? Pretty much what saves me from this game is I drew Plasma for turn, and what I was thinking was, okay, if he negates my favorite contact, then he doesn't have a body on the board. But he decided to let it go through, and then Phoenix was out, and it drained his Apex Avian by 2200 life. And then I just switched it to battle phase, and he was gonna set rotation, which I don't know why, but I guess he thought he was gonna survive. And then I swung, and then that was pretty much game, because Phoenix was 25, he was losing 25, and then he was losing 22. So round 3, you guys, is against Rika. But yeah, anyway, for that last round, that was game 2, and we ended up drawing. So just to clarify on that one, I get to go first. I really went nuts on this one, and then I was doing the Vision Hero plays at Poly, and the Cross Keep. The Cross Crusader at my monsters. Like, I literally have like almost all my resources in my hand. Like, it was just ridiculous. Wonder Driver, like the Ab-Zero, because I already had Miracle Fusion in my hand. And then that's what I usually do. If I already have Miracle Fusion, I'm gonna make Ab-Zero. But funny enough is I did all those plays just to end up on those 2 monsters, and I was really worried because I was like, my board was not that strong. And I had no hand traps either. And I'm not running acid, so I didn't have like the whole board break removal. But he said he kind of bricked because he had to start off with a certain card. Let's see, he made... I can't remember this game all too well because I don't know the Rika deck very well. But when he got rid of my Ab-Zero, I just wiped the board. So I was like, you could have just... I was like, you shouldn't have... I was like, I don't know why you did that, but... Hero lives. We make Shadow Mist because she was the only elemental hero left in the deck. It negated the Shadow Mist, I think, to search for mass change. And then I get Stratos, Miracle Fusion, make Sunrise. I get my Liquid Soldier's effect, draw 2. And then I think I discarded the Denier, and then basically just got the pop off. Now I have Phoenix and Sunrise, and basically my opponent's just like I knew the Rika Petal had to go because it was coming back during end phase, and since I was still able to respond, Phoenix got rid of it, and then he basically scooped because that was basically what he needed. So game 2, however, my opponent gets to go first. I asked the card that he played with last time, and he says if he starts off with it, he bricked. So you don't want to tell your opponent everything, so when he played it, I was like, okay, well, I guess maybe he bricked again. So I start off with Engage Neospace, he ashes it. That card's the other Ash bait, man, because, but I had Fusion Destiny as well. What's funny enough is in this deck profile, I think I'm only playing 1 copy of Fusion Destiny. So opening it up feels really good, especially when you're playing 1. But it's just because the only reason I'm playing 1 of it is because the Destiny Hero package is, small. and I don't want to get locked into Dark Heroes because of this, Spatians and stuff. But I basically go bonkers, I believe. I fought through, I don't remember if he had any negations or anything. Oh no, I popped a face down and it was like a dust thing because he was like, I was prepared for Mystic Mine. I'm like, I was like, I promise you I don't play that shit. I don't play Mystic Mine, bro. I'm sorry, like I don't like that card at all. There was only one time I've ever played that card. But I don't think I was able to kill him because of the Fusion Destiny. That was the bad thing. I wasn't able to kill him. Let's see. I used Phoenix's effect, I believe. Yeah, and he was able to just... Basically, the game was just kind of over. I normal summoned Grand Mole, but I used the effect to bounce back, and he had exactly 100 life points left. But he was like, the Grand Mole beat my monster over by 100, so I'll just give it to you. And I was like, oh, okay. So I won that game, and oh god, I lost track of what round this was, but anyway, we face against tier elements. Now, so far I've had good matchups against tier elements with Neos, because the last Yu-Gi-Oh! Day I did with Neos, when I did the Win a Console as well, we would have won that game against tier elements, but like I said in that one game, dude's pretty much slow played me. Just because, man. I clearly had board dominance, and he just slow played me. I was still very salty about that game, but anyway, yeah, as you can see, we pretty much stopped our opponent. Like, I guess the Ash Blossom on the terraforming really, really hurt him. Let's see. I think that's what happened on this game. I wasn't really paying attention because I was talking to you guys, so... pretty much I know. I'm still trying to learn how to really, really beat tier elements. And I guess DD Crow actually works really well in some cases. As you can see, I'm popping off. I've got my chain link. I guess my opponent was a little upset because he didn't really know, he didn't understand what my deck did a bit. And I'm kind of going like quick. But when I play the game, I explain everything as I'm going. And I'm just like, if you could explain I'm like, dude, I explain everything. Like, maybe you're just not paying attention. Like, are you just not paying attention? Because I explain everything I do. And I explain what all my cards do when I get them. And it's just like... But basically, I just kind of just OTK here. Because I just had huge bodies on board. And then I had the Dark Law, so like, his tier element stuff wasn't going to be able to activate. Because I knew the Dark Law was just going to win me against tier elements. Game 2, my opponent does get to go first. Oh, no, I went. Yeah, he actually chose for me to go first for some reason. I started with Engage Neo Space. I can't remember if it gets Ashed or not. No, it didn't. So we got the Spirit Neos. Use Spirit to add. I think we added the Instant Contact this time. But he activated, one of the cards to mill. I forgot. I couldn't see what I added with Spirit Neos. I believe I added I forgot which one I added. So I was reading the card because I guess he was telling me it does activate Engrave, and it has to be the one that gets shuffled back in. So then I DD Crowed. So I hope that works. So it banished it. So it wouldn't. I guess it wasn't able to shuffle back in, I'm guessing. So I hope that's how that works, because I mean, he was good with it, so I guess I was good. So, we got the Sunrise Neos and Stratos on board. I don't remember everything with this game, because I know maybe I set the favorite contact. And the one thing that kind of made me upset, because like he was just like so like not cocky about it. He was like, "Here, hold this for me." And I was like, "Bro, like, come on, dude." Like, it was just the way he said it kind of ticked me off. He's like, "Here, hold this for me." And I was like, wow, okay. But I was able to stop my opponent anyway. I ashed the Foolish Burial because when you get to the point when you play this game enough and your opponent's like thinking way too much, and like sometimes you don't want to talk when you're trying to make your plays, because he was like thinking for a minute, and he's like, yeah, that'll work. And then when he activated Foolish Burial, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna immediately ash this. And then he basically just couldn't do anything else. But unfortunately for me, what I messed up on was when I made Ab-Zero, I did Liquid Soldier's effect, but I forgot to do Crosskeeper, so I would have drew more resources, but I forgot, and it kind of put me to a slow grind. But what was good for me was he activated the card that negated Ab-Zero, and I'm like, okay, it's still when he leaves the field. And then he was going to have a Chain Link 2 to Fusion Summon, and I actually flip over the Dimensional Barrier. So I think that's going to happen right now because he's figuring out his Chain Link. He's like, yeah, Chain Link 1, Chain Link 2, and I said D-Barrier. And that basically negated him from being able to summon the Fusion Monster, so I know that hurt. But then when the thing it sucks, the reason I don't like to play D-Barrier, especially if I know I'm going against another Fusion deck, it's going to negate my stuff too. So when Ab-Zero actually leaves the field, because I'm actually going to activate Nibiru on my opponent. So the bad thing is, when I activate Nibiru, Ab-Zero's effect will not resolve because of Dimensional Barrier. So he was able to have this really, really, really big token on the field. And let's see. Yeah, so I make the Nibiru, I put it in defense. And because Tyranids have just huge defense for some reason, they all have like 2 grand for defense. It had like 6,000 defense. And I was like, oh crap. So then I had to put Nibiru in defense position. And then for some reason, he swung the token at Nibiru when he could have killed it with the snake, and I could have just took massive damage, but he swung with the token, so I guess he wasn't thinking about the math. So I get to pop off now, essentially. You know, we got the Stratus and the Vion, and I believe he had no cards in hand, so I knew I was just good to just explode. We get DPE on the field because I look at the deck and I was like, well, if I send Shadow Mist, I can search for something, but then I have no way of like getting the Denier from Grave back in the... So we got the DPE, then we link it to Wonder Driver. That's why I love making DPE with Polymerization, because we don't get locked into Dark Heroes. So then we can still make our Wonder Driver, and then here comes the Shining Neo Swingman. I blow up the token and I blow up the back row, and then the Snake was just losing so much attack, and that was game, you guys. Round 5, against Dragon Link. I get to go first. My opponent knows the deck pretty well, so he basically had Ash for increase like every single game. So I had to just leave it on a very mediocre board. I added the Spirit Neos just for battle. Add the Neos and the Dark Panther just because get resources. Just a thin deck, so if I survive, I can, hopefully draw into some answers. So I favor Contact here. I make DPE with the Neos and the Denier. But then he had Chalice. Because I was going to I chained DPE to just try to pop the Tracer. And he had Chalice for DPE, unfortunately. But I guess his hand wasn't the greatest because he wasn't able to... I forgot what he wasn't able to do. All he ended up making was Boral Savage, and yeah, he made the Boral Savage, and I got the increase back in my Spell and Trap Zone because I never made Vion, and then during his main phase 2, I popped off. Well, no, he actually negated the increase, but then he said. And then I top deck freaking Reinforcement of the Army. And then I got my Vion, and then he was just like, oh crap. And then yeah, I was essentially just gonna take over the game here. We got my draw 2, discard. And I discarded Crosskeeper to special Spirit Neos, added Instant Contact, shuffled him back, got the Neos, made Flame Wingman, used Miracle Fusion, made Absolute Zero, I believe, just so I could get that huge boost on my monsters. Because I was like, I can make Shining Neos, but there's really no point. I just want to have enough damage to swing for game. So then, yeah, that was it. So on to game 2, however, I think I actually go first again. Because I was really... No, he goes first. So it starts off with the... this game is actually going to be very quick. I had no responses. I had Impermanence, actually. But I was just like, I'm just going to save it for one of the boss monsters, It's just better off to just save it for that. He gets to pop off. But basically the reason why this game ends so quickly is because he had both D-Barrier and anti-spell fragrance. So I was just really just screwed on that one. And what sucked about the anti-spell, because I could have fought through the D barrier, because as us hero players, if we get hit with D barrier, we can still make our links, and plasma is our, second choice. But I got hit with D barrier, and the anti-spell really hurt, because I actually opened up my fusion spells. I had Stratos. I had the negate for the Boral Savage, and I top decked Ultimate Slayer, and I would have got rid of the Link Monster, but because of the anti-spell, I lost that game. So game 3, however, we get to go first. There was 15 minutes left on the clock, so I knew I wasn't going to side out my hero lives. We use increase. It gets ashed again. So I make I have my resources. I'm like, crap, I'm gonna end up on a really, really crappy board. Let's see, what did we do here? I think we Neos fusioned here. No, we Miracle Contact for Brave Neos, and then that was basically it. I just had to. I forgot what I ashed his the space card, and that actually, he said that actually really hurt, because the plays he had to make, it got him to where he was locked under. He couldn't link summon Link 2 or lower monsters, and so the Ash Blossom really prevented him from link climbing, so he basically just is going to end on another Boral Savage, and he passes, because the Boral Savage is only going to have, I think, let's see, because here's the Tracer. He's really thinking about his plays, and then he just... Next that, he pops my Hell Divisor, gets those 2. Now that I know with Dragon Link, I'm going to try not to leave a Link Monster on the board anymore, because the fact that he popped a Link Monster and gets 2 out of the grave, that's insane. And then he ends on a Boral Savage, so luckily enough for me, he equips the Striker again. Neos dies, I get my increase back. I Foolish, Shadow Mist. I'm really trying to bait the Savage here. Normal Stratos. He activates Savage to negate Stratos, and then I just chain increase. And then, so before the Stratos gets destroyed, I just get the pop off. So, because he had no cards in his hand either. So as you can see, we get the Sunrise. We reset the Polymerization, get Denier, use Malicious, get Phoenix, Miracle Fusion, Ab Zero, and then we, do our hero thing, swing and, just take the game from there, essentially. I believe, and that was it. Round 6, however, this is game 2, because unfortunately, I didn't start recording. I thought I was, but game 1, I'll just tell you how it was. I went insane. I made Nebula Neos. I drew like 4 cards. I blew my opponent away. But in the game 2, however, as you can see, it's against. The one thing I'm upset about the most is because the next round was for the box, and out of all the decks I played against, this is like the live one is like the most basic one. And I lost to it because he just had imperm every single time for just everything. Like, he negated the Vion. I'm like, why wouldn't you just save that for? Well, I guess that's why he didn't save it for. It's probably why he didn't save it for Darklaw, because he had the DPE. I still hate that other people are still playing DPE so bad. And then he activated Mystic Mine on himself. In which what I should have done was not felt like I had to respond to the Mystic Mine. I should have just kept drawing cards and passing turn, and that's basically what cost me the game. The reason why I know the D barrier was basically useless against my opponent, it was because everybody was playing it. I felt like I was gonna have the the cross out designator for it. But as you can see, I hero lives, I Stratos, it gets impermed, I Neos Fusion into Brave, and that's basically how I have to leave my board. And then my opponent is basically just going to blow me away, because that's all I had. And because he had imperm every single time, so he had to have been playing 3 copies of it. But anyway, guys, I'm just gonna make up my final statements. X1 with Neos build. Don't worry, you guys. A deck profile will be coming, and yeah, if you've made it this far into the video, if you're new to the channel, please Trinity crush that like button. Oh, Jesus! Trinity crush that like button. We are on the march for 1K subscribers before Christmas. It's already almost October. It's almost spooky month, so I'm gonna, hopefully do some more fun things. So deck profile coming out. Like button, subscribe button, and well, that's gonna be it. So I'm gonna head out of here. I'll see you guys in the next one.